Okay, everybody, we are just rolling right along here. What are we now? 13 days away from Thanksgiving. 13th, 26th is Thanksgiving. 13 days away. Welcome into the Parker the Man page at yournews.com. Mark Wilson with your webcam. And here we go with another big football weekend. You can just say that for every weekend, can't you? I got kind of an interesting piece for you today. Read the column. It's kind of a retrospective on the Lions from way back when. I mean, way back, like 15 years ago. Remember the 90s when the Lions were like winning division titles and going to postseasons 4 times under Wayne Fontes, 2 more times under Bobby Ross? Remember those bad old days when they would have 10-win seasons? 91, they had a 12-win season. You know, remember those, how awful those were? Obviously, it was compounded by the fact that they didn't do well in the postseasons. They won the one playoff game against Dallas and then faltered against Green Bay twice. Tampa, Washington, that horrible Eagles game. Well, I bring that up, the 95 season, actually 95, really 94 to 97, because there's a reason for my badness. You know, why are we talking about this today, Rob Parker always says? Because when the Lions head to Minnesota this Sunday, they have not won in Minnesota since 1997. That was the Scott Mitchell to Herman Moore, corner of the end zone, the fade pass, the jump ball, if you will, that Mitchell and Moore kind of perfected for a while there. Don't forget, Scott Mitchell, as much as he was vilified in this town, and he became a joke for a while, he had the best season ever by a Lions quarterback in 1995 when he threw for over 4,300 yards and 32 touchdown passes. You know, we make fun of him because of what happened in the postseasons, but, you know, compared to now, are you kidding? Who wouldn't take those years, those big Wayne Fontes years? So, you know, and I thought about this because if you were like, I don't know, if you were like 10 years old back then, you'd be like 25 now, and you probably don't remember that era. So I kind of mixed everything in the Mitchell era, kind of how it all came about for him and how it ended for him, pretty much tied into this one game against the Minnesota Vikings, which is still the last time the Lions went to Minnesota and came out a winner. Now, the other interesting part about this game on Sunday is that Brett Favre is now the quarterback of the Vikings. Well, Brett Favre still has never lost a home game to the Lions. Now, 16 times in Green Bay, he'll have his first shot at home as a Vikings quarterback. He, of course, beat the Lions at Ford Field this year. The Lions have beaten him 9 times in Detroit. All but the Packers, because he has not lost as a Vikings quarterback his first time here. First season as a Vikings QB. So how interesting is, to me this stuff is interesting. These streaks, Jim Schwartz hates these streaks because he just got here. He can't do anything about what happened in the past. So read all about it. It's a pretty long piece. It's involved, but it's kind of cool because it does kind of wrap up that entire era, which kind of gets lost now. Even I think I mentioned Barry Sanders' name once in this because this is pretty much about Scott Mitchell and some interesting stories, and I was right there in the middle of it. The Robert Porcher guarantee of running the table in 95, the Lomas Brown guarantee of winning the playoff game in Philadelphia. Porcher was right, Lomas was wrong. So read about that whole situation, how Fontes got fired and Bobby Ross came in and Mitchell finally got out of here because of that pick by Corey Sawyer of the Bengals in 1998. That was the last pass he threw as a Lions QB. So that's all part of the piece. A little Scott Mitchell bit because he's the last guy to beat the Vikings for the Lions in Minnesota as a quarterback. Check out the Thursday Night Football game results from the 49ers and Bears. Jay Cutler pulled to Matt Stafford. Who does he think he is, Matt Stafford? He threw not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 interceptions against the 49ers in San Francisco. The first NFL Network game of the season for Thursday night. College football, here we go again, people. I write that, here we go again. Both teams on the road. Michigan at Wisconsin, Michigan State at Purdue. Tough place to win, both places actually, a lot of times. Ross-Ade Stadium in West Lafayette, and Madison certainly is hard to win in, Camp Randall Stadium. If they don't win, people, I'm telling you, they're not going to get the 6th win to be bowl eligible, each of them, because the last 2 games, of course, respectively, Michigan has Ohio State, and Michigan State has Penn State. So you better get a road win, find a way to win. If Rich Rodriguez can do it at Wisconsin, and if Mark D'Antonio can do it at Purdue. The Wings, how about the Red Wings? Kind of rolling a little bit. 9-1 over Columbus and 3-1 last night, Thursday night against Vancouver. Jimmy Howard in goal for both of them. All of a sudden, Jimmy Howard's name is up. Chris Osgood had the flu. Ozzie was out, so Howard did well. 12-1 composite score in the last 2 nights for the Red Wings. Curtis Granderson, I don't write much about this proposed deal. There is no proposed deal. There's rumors that Dombrowski is talking to teams that Granderson would be available for the right price, but everybody should be. When you fail as much as the Tigers did at the end of the year, people are up for grabs. Except for Justin Verlander, who was voted Tiger of the Year. He's only the second Tiger pitcher to win the Tiger of the Year award since 1986, since Morris won in '86. See if you can guess who the other Tiger pitcher was that did it. I bet you don't get it. And college basketball's back, people. Michigan State plays something called Florida Gulf Coast. Sounds more like a map than a school. And Michigan takes on Northern Michigan. I'm not trying to offend Florida Gulf Coast. I'm sure it's a fine institution. Michigan and Northern at Chrysler on Saturday. So MSU's up first. Tom Izzo Company, number 2 in the country tonight. And then Michigan, John Beilein, number 15 in the country against Northern. I'm not trying to rip on Florida. I'm sure Florida Gulf Coast is the Harvard of the South. So there you go. Read the piece about Scott Mitchell. The 97 game in which the Lions were the last time they won in Minnesota as they get ready to take on the Vikings this Sunday. NFL Thursday with the 49ers and the Jay Cutler 5 picks. College football, the Red Wings, Granderson, Verlander, and college basketball. Back, baby, for the 2009-10 campaign. All right, there you go. It's all there for you on the Parker and the Man page at yournews.com. Happy navigating, everybody, and have a great weekend.